The Tennessee Beef Foundation is aimed at perpetuating the beef business in Tennessee, beef cattle industry. And specifically tonight, we're trying to raise funds and support for the youth programs that will encourage young people to pursue beef cattle as a career field. It's critical to encourage the next generation to get into the beef cattle business because critical mass is essential when it comes to farming. So for beef cattle farmers like my husband and myself, it's essential that we have other people in our area who are also farming beef cattle so that we have the resources we need to take our cattle to market. So if we encourage young people to pursue beef farming or ranching as a career, we call it farming in Tennessee, then we're ensuring that we have that critical mass for the next generation. And not only that, but we're also ensuring that America can feed itself moving forward.
It is a great thing to be in. I love it. It's fun to do. It is stressful sometimes, especially when you're calving or AI, breeding or whatever. It gets frustrating, but it is a great thing to be in. There's a lot of good people in this industry. What I like about it is, when I was younger, we showed a lot of cattle, and we knew people all over the country, and we made friends all over. And that's what I love about it, because when you show up, we had an incident happened to us back in 2001. My brother had a wreck on the way to a cattle show. We was in Mississippi on our way to Louisiana, and just the knowing that people were sitting there waiting for us to help us out because my brother was back at the hospital, that is why I love this industry of the ag, because everybody comes together as one group.
My passion has always been farming and beef cattle. That's why I became a veterinarian. The farm that I grew up on in Alabama was not necessarily large enough to go back and make a business off of. And so when I went to school, I always thought, well, what was a way that I could get back home to the farm? And I love being able to help people. I love, it's really not that different sometimes than being a farmer and a veterinarian. My role as a veterinarian were to assist other people trying to raise their animals, provide good care for them, be a knowledge base, be a service provider. As a farmer, we're doing the exact same thing, just in a different manner. We're just trying to provide people food that is good for them, that we take pride in.
The interesting thing about farming, and this trend has continued for the last 100 years, is that more farming is being done by fewer farmers, if that makes sense, and we're also having higher yield on fewer acreage. But if you look at an organization like the Future Farmers of America, for instance, which is a passion of mine and my husband's, it's at an all-time high in its membership. So the interest for agriculture has never been greater, and anyone watching this show or anyone at home, they know that knowing where your food comes from is essential. And more people are interested in that, and they want to eat local, and they want to know where their food comes from. So having beef cattle farmers in the area who you know and trust, that's important, and it's good for Tennesseans. This reception is especially important to my family. My husband John and I, we farm beef cattle ourselves, and my husband happens to be an 8th generation farmer. So for us to perpetuate beef farming as a passion for the next generation, that's important to us, and it's a passion of ours. So hosting this reception was just natural for us. We're proud to do it and glad that the folks who are coming tonight are out to support beef cattle and the farmers who go into that field every day.
The reason for me being here today is for networking, visiting with other producers, visiting with non-producers, telling our story about the beef industry. I love the beef industry. I support the Beef Foundation. It's a good program, and that's why I'm here today.
We have a great crowd here tonight that runs the gamut, from youth involved in FFA, Future Farmers of America, and 4-H, all the way to full-time cattle farmers, including some employees from the Tennessee Department of Agriculture, and then people like myself, who I'm a stay-at-home mother, for instance, who we farm as well. And so there's a wide variety of folks here, a lot of interest, and I think the main takeaway from this event is that it's crucial for us to pass on interest in farming to the next generation, specifically in beef cattle, and then also to create some excitement around this industry and this cause, which is, again, to create interest in farming and to encourage the next generation that it is something that's possible for them to take on. We're very excited that at this event we have food from some of our beef cattle friends over in Clay County, Nick and April Patterson.
We donated some ground beef, and I think they're going to use it for the meatball portion of the dinner tonight.
Also from our farm, the Rose Farm in Lancaster, Tennessee, not far from here, and from our friends Darren and Jenny Drake, who farm right next door to us at Peaceful Pastures. And they sell their beef all over the country. They make multiple runs hundreds of miles away. So local beef is the theme tonight.
You know, I think it's we're at a point in society where people are curious about where their food comes from, and so when you talk about them coming to visit a farm, I think it piques interest in a lot of different ways. One, you know, you've got less than 2% of the population now is involved in production agriculture, so less than 2% of our country's population is involved in not only feeding our country, but feeding also a large parts of the world as we ship products everywhere. There's a gap now between those that produce and those that consume. And we want to be able to bridge that gap. And our generation is really going to have to do that. The generation behind us, hopefully we will have made some strides, or maybe they don't have some of the struggles that we do about consumer perception of some of the products that we raise and the reason that we do things on our farm.